Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces Talks Music. Today I'm going to talk about an EP instead of an album, but this is an EP that I think is kind of forgotten. It's more modern, but people don't talk about it anywhere near as much as they used to. And maybe even at the time, I don't know if it was talked about a lot, and I feel like that it definitely deserves to be talked about, especially when we're talking about progressive rock. And that is The Tain by the Decemberists. This is my Canadian import copy. I know that they eventually grouped this with another EP and put the two together. Sorry, I just got interrupted and I don't know if I finished my thought from before. They put these two, they put their first two EPs together and made one album length collection of EPs. And while I do like a couple of the songs from that first EP, I like this by itself. I think this is one complete piece of art, this EP, The Tain. This was released on March 4th of 2004. The Decemberists at the time had two albums out, and I had a buddy when I was getting my undergrad that absolutely wanted me to like the Decemberists, and I think he played Castaway and Cutouts for me, maybe some of Her Majesty. I think those are the names of the first two albums, and I honestly could not get into them. I really couldn't. I didn't catch the Decemberists bugs through those first two records. And I know a lot of people did. Those records were huge. But when this came out, it came out at a perfect time because I was, at that time, in my undergrad, taking a class where we were reading The Tain, which is the Irish mythic legend or saga that this song is based on. So, number one, I'm absolutely obsessed with the concept of music based on literature. I love that idea. So I was very much excited to hear this when my buddy first told me about it. And at that point was really just discovering my love for sagas and myth. I had always loved fables and folk and fairy tales, just because that's what I grew up with as a kid. And so I was just discovering that, and I was reading this incredible, wild saga about a king and a queen who get into not an argument, but they start measuring who has more wealth while they're laying in bed together. And everything that the one has, the other has, and they're matched perfectly until they get to the very end, and the king has this prize bowl that is absolutely incredible, and she does not. But a neighboring kingdom has a bowl, and she has to borrow it, and they say no, so they go to war to get this bowl in order to satisfy or sate this queen's desire to have just as much as her husband does. It's been years since I've read this. If I am wrong in that synopsis in any way, let me know. But I think that's really the beginning of this incredible epic. And the Decemberists made their song incredibly epic to back that up. This is an EP, but it is only one song, and it's 18 minutes, over 18 minutes long, I think, and yeah, just a little bit over 18 minutes long, and it's broken down into 5 parts. And the players on this album, it says The Tain as performed by the Decemberists. Colin Malloy does visuals, electric guitar, acoustic guitars, tin toys, and bottles. Jenny Conley does piano, Rhodes, Wurlitzer, Hammond organ, accordion, and vocals. Rachel Bloomberg does the drums, vocals, percussion, glockenspiel, and tin toys. Nate Query, I don't know if that's how you say his name. If I said any of these names wrong, I apologize. Upright bass, electric bass, vocals, and tin toys. And Chris Funk does pedal steel, lap steel, mandolin, and vocals. And with Chris Walla also doing vocals. And this is an incredible prog epic. I absolutely love it. It blew my mind. It starts out with a very catchy riff on an acoustic guitar, and this theme is brought in at the beginning and again at the end, sandwiching this entire tale, and the different parts are sung by different people, and it's moving, it's heavy, it's a really heavy tune. It to me didn't sound like any of the Decemberists that had come before it. And it really blew my mind. It really did. And it made me a Decemberist fan. And their next album that came out, Picaresque, I think came out after this, I was able to get into. I really loved. And there's a folkiness to it. And I will admit to often wishing that the Decemberists would be a little heavier. And they have a tendency to fall more to folk. But I also really do love folk. And I love psychedelic folk. And I love dark folk. And these guys make some pretty dark folk. It's pretty awesome. The Mariner's Revenge song off of Picaresque is incredible. If you've never heard that, it's like a sea shanty revenge tale. It's dark. It's awesome. But this was what brought me into it. And the year this came out, a few months later, the Decemberists played in Denver, and I was living and going to school in Wyoming at the time, in Laramie. And my buddy, who had been trying to get me into the Decemberists for so long, said, let's go see them live. And I went and saw them live, and it was incredible. And they did the Tain, and it was incredible. So heavy, so enjoyable. And then I followed them along with all their records. Eventually they came out with The Hazards of Love, which I'm sure I will talk about on this channel sometime. And I went and saw them live again. And at that point, I was able to meet the band, which was absolutely incredible. Here's my buddy and I with Colin Malloy. And it's a band that I've just really enjoyed. And for me, it all started with the heaviness that is the Tain. And when it comes right down to it, as much as I absolutely love everything by the Decemberists, this is my favorite. If somebody says, what should I listen to by the Decemberists? This is what I'm going to say. It's really incredible. There is on YouTube an animated video that tells a bit of the story from the actual epic. So go give it a listen. I think you'll really like it. If you like prog rock, you're going to love this. If you love heavy, long, literature-based songs, you're going to love this. Either way, I think you'll really enjoy this. So go give it a listen. All right. Thank you very much for watching this to the end. If you liked it, please click like. And if you like this kind of content, please click subscribe, because we'll be making a lot more of it in the future. Thank you so much for watching.